You keep telling yourself what you know. But what do you believe?
So, do you want to take a leap of faith? Or become an old man filled with regret, waiting to die alone?
The only person you are destined to become is the person you decide to be.
Being nervous is important, you know. There's a quote that I love. I see it all the time, you know, there's nothing wrong with having butterflies as long as you can get them to fly in formation.
We live in a field of infinite possibilities. Choose the possibility you want to live in. I will choose a timeline of a life that I want to live.
Strange thing about faith and fear, they both demand you believe something you can't see.
What do you want to be? You know, I don't want to be anything. I am everything I want to be. You know, I'm already there. You know? I don't want anything. You know, people say I want this, I want to do this, and I want to do that. But the vibe you're putting out is want. You're always gonna want. You know, I always have the attitude that I have.
I just decided to save myself by dreaming bigger and reaching for some stars. And so I walked into an MMA school with the mindset of being the best in the world.
I'm going to choose this possibility of my life. And that's a feeling tone of abundance. It's a feeling tone of right action. Ultimately, the feeling is going to determine the outcome. You live in a field of infinite possibilities. Why don't you choose a good one?
I would look up everything about being a person of faith, confidence, even things about charisma. You know, I would just study everything that I wasn't. And I put in hours and hours and hours. And I took lots of notes, and I just watched my world slowly start to change. My demeanor, my confidence level, and the things that I expected for myself, things that I genuinely believed that I could be and I could do, it started to happen. And year after year, my world started to become better and better.
Whatever you believe with feeling, and this is the key, with feeling, and the more emotion you put into a belief, becomes your reality. Becomes your reality because you will always act in a manner consistent with your beliefs. As a matter of fact, your entire reality right now is simply a outward picturing of your most intensely held beliefs. If you believe something that is positive or believe something that is negative, or as Henry Ford said, if you believe you can do a thing or if you believe you cannot, you are right. Our beliefs do form our realities. To the degree to which we believe anything to be true, our beliefs act as sort of like a screen. They filter out any information that is inconsistent with our beliefs. We do not see opportunities if we are convinced that there are no opportunities. We do not see possibilities for success if we don't believe that success is possible for us. However, if we begin to change our beliefs, we begin to change our realities.
You have got to start expecting great things to happen for you in order for it to happen. It is the law of attraction. It is real. It is nothing fake about it. The Bible says a man is as he thinketh. If you live your life in expectations, that's what happens to you. If you live your life in despair, that's what happens to you. If you say all men are dogs, you're gonna meet every last one of them. I'll never be rich, you won't. The moment you change the frequency that your tower emits, different things come back to you.
Whenever you think of anything that causes you any concern, just say to yourself, I can do it. I can do that. I can do anything. I can do anything I put my mind to. Those are the magic words that eventually undercut and erode and wash away any fear that may be holding you back. And you repeat those over and over as affirmations, and you program them deep into your subconscious mind, and at a certain point you override all the negativity from your environment.
I see myself as the champ already.
Already? You're the featherweight champion already?
Of course, I see myself as the champ from day one. I visualize everything. I visualize this conversation. I visualize the walkout. I visualize everything going on. I know I have shots picked out that I'm going to throw in this fight in 5 weeks. You know what I mean? I've seen everything in my head, and now it's going to happen. You see it in your head, you're going to see it before your eyes. That's what I say.
Right around age 19 years old, I just found myself just in a bad spot in life, and I knew that I didn't want to just be an MMA fighter. I knew that I wanted to be the best in the world, but I wasn't the most confident young man.
Conor, in February of 2013, we spoke for the first time. You didn't have a car, you didn't have a pot to piss in, all you had were blueberries. Now here you are with the undisputed gold Enjoy it, my friend. You deserve it. You called it.
Yeah, from nothing to something to everything.
You have to believe you'll be all right. The universe will take care of the rest.
Power of the mind is not to be underestimated. I believe, really believe.
The one point that all the great teachers, all down through history, have all agreed on, they've been in complete unanimous agreement on it. We become what we think about. Now, it may be fantasy at first. It might even appear to us as being a lie. But if you read it often enough, you'll start to believe it.
Hey, whoever you think I am, you got the wrong guy.
You were always the wrong guy. Till you weren't.
Because the perception of reality is more real than reality itself.
Forget everyone else. You gotta believe in yourself.
Seeing is believing, and the mission impossible was not impossible.
Only those who will risk going too far can possibly find out how far one can go.
Must keep going!
To that? It is impossible!
Nothing is impossible! What we all have done is impossible!
Charles, you have finally lost your senses.
This venture is impossible.
For some, gentlemen, the only way to achieve the impossible is to believe it is possible.
That kind of thinking could ruin you.
I'm willing to take that chance.
That's all I want you to do when you look at your dream. Just say to yourself every day, it's possible.
What rich people do. They speak into existence what they want. When you speak things, it is dramatically different than if you just think it. Watch your words.
No one attempts the impossible without belief in something greater than themselves.
The rules you live by were written by someone who stopped asking questions. So start rewriting it. The only limit is how deep you're willing to question what you've accepted as truth. They told you life works a certain way, but that's just code, and code can be rewritten. Reality is negotiable.
A city with an ordinary life, but he has a genuinely extraordinary sense of self, a massive self-belief, and a belief that extends his own reality to whatever he wants it to be.
Months, years and years, and when you go to rest, you have this self-belief that you can win.
Impossible. Nothing is impossible.
Wealthy people broadcast what they want, their desires in life, their goals, on the wealth wave, on the billionaire brainwave. If you do that, that's the secret to manifesting. I'm going to show you how to do it. I recorded a show about a year ago. I want you to watch this show, take notes, watch it again and again, share it with everybody, because this is the secret that I have used to bring in billions and billions and billions of dollars and create stuff out of nothing over and over again.
You have to ask yourself before you start your day, what do I want to bring to the world? Who do I want to become? Let me become that person. Let me disconnect from my outer world. Let me close my eyes. Let me play some music, fill the space. Let me not eat anything, smell anything, taste anything. Let me not move around, experience anything, and feel anything. Let me make my inner world more real than my outer world. Let me remind myself of that 95%, the way I think, the way I act, the way I feel. Let me just get so conscious of those thoughts if I can. I'll start tomorrow. It's too late. It's her fault. It's his fault. Get really aware of how I speak, how I act. Let me remind myself of the thoughts I do want to think. Let me remember them so I don't forget them. How am I going to feel today? I want to feel this feeling and keep bringing it up until I can't forget it. If I change the way I think, if I change the way I act, if I change the way I feel, will my life change? The answer should be yes, because if you're choosing to evolve your experience, your life should change.
Heaven and hell are both states of mind. When a person is in a very doubtful and negative state of mind, he's always going to catch hell. But when the individual finds the heaven, the harmony, the God, the good, the love that is resident in his own being, then he begins to experience heaven.
Now, if you don't understand it, doesn't mean you should reject it. You see, whatever is going on in your mind, you are attracting to you.
One, it has been proven now scientifically that an affirmative thought is hundreds of times more powerful than a negative thought.
This is what I believe to be true. This is what I learned in the hospital.
You have to do everything you can. You have to work your hardest. And if you do, if you stay positive, you have a shot at a silver lining.
Vibrations will only manifest if you commit.
It doesn't matter how hard you work. It doesn't matter how many hours you put in. If you only remember one thing I'm saying, I want you to burn this into your mind. You can try as hard as you want to change some area in your life. If the paradigm remains in control, you're toast. It just will not work.
When you don't have money, you don't realize, like think about right now, if someone grabbed your throat and squeezed it, what would you think about? The only thing in the world is oxygen.
Yeah,
right? How do I get more?
Getting free.
But you're not thinking about it right now because it's abundant. It's not on your mind. But what you don't realize is when money is lacking in your life, it focuses all the time. I would do that for my kids, but I can't. I'd love to take that vacation, but I can't. I'd love to do my own thing. I'm sick of this unfulfilled job, but I can't. I'd love to be at every baseball game, but I can't. It all boils down to money. I don't care what anybody says. You have the money, you're in control of your decisions, you're in control of your calendar.
Be you transformed by the renewing of your mind. In other words, you change your conditions by changing your self-image. If you see yourself as a person who is in a vale of tears and under conditions and circumstances, that's the way you will be until you change your mind. Also, one of the techniques that I teach is called visualization. It teaches the person to see himself being, doing, and having the good which he desires. And the Bible says where there is no vision, the people perish. And it simply means that if you cannot see yourself in a better condition, you will die in the terrible condition that you're in.
So I didn't realize I spent so much of my life with the throat being choked, but it was money, and I watched that's how my parents lived. I can't go to the baseball game. I can't put the window in the back of the car. We got to get evicted from this trailer because we don't have what? We don't have money. Right? I'd love to say that we live in this perfect world that you don't need money to have choices in your life, but in most cases you don't.
Questions are the answer. You want a better answer, you need to ask a better question. So when you ask for something, whether that's for a goal, whether that's for permission, whether that's for love, you need to be asking the world for what you want. You make the demand, you make the request, and the universe then conspires to bring the things that you want to you.
If I'm going to get myself a big mansion in Las Vegas, I'm going to get the soft top cars, I'm going to bring my whole team out, I'm going to spoil them and give them this life. Big steaks that size, we're eating every single night each. We're eating good, we're living good. It's human nature. Some people will sit and take positivity from that. They will look at that and take inspiration and inspire. It will inspire them to go and push for that. Others will shell up and critique it and be negative towards it. But one thing is for sure, those people will stay where they are. The people who take inspiration from it will rise up and also one day experience that life. So this is human nature. Some go one way, some go the other way. But
most people are thinking about what they don't want, and they're wondering why it shows up over and over again. You become what you think about most of the time.
We all should think that we're great. There's no reason for you to not think that you're great. If you don't think you're great, ask yourself why. Why don't you think the highest of yourself? When you do, people have no choice but to follow suit.
Well, a lot of people, they base it on their past. They base it on the life that they've experienced up until this moment.
I don't know what you're going through right now. I don't know if you're in tough pain, going through a divorce, going through a bankruptcy. You feel like you're too old. You feel like you're too young. You feel like you live in the wrong place. You feel like, Dean, this is great for everybody else, but you don't understand what I'm going through. I don't know if that's what you believe, but I've been lucky enough to watch people from every walk of life, from everywhere in the world, starting with different backgrounds, starting with the most hellish past, some that break my heart. I could cry thinking about it. And when they got it, they just got it and started attracting money, started attracting relationships. Their first deal happened or their new business started. And a lot of it is this foundational stuff we're talking about right here, right now, today.
The law of attraction is really obedient. When you think of the things that you want and you focus on them with all of your intention, the law of attraction will give you what you want every time.
Every time you are upset or your children are upset because of what somebody else says about them, including their peers, what you are really saying in that moment, and this is really important, what you're saying is, what you think of me is more important than what I think of myself. And you must never give anybody that kind of power and control over you, because they will always have it.
You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. Now think about that. If you want to attract what you want, you've got to see yourself already with it.
When you believe that your miracle is already on its way, when you believe that you are worthy of it, the universe has no choice but to manifest it for you. Right now, as you focus on the greatness you want to experience, the circumstances of your life begin to shift. You might not see it with your physical eyes yet, but trust that the forces at play are working for your good. The power of your inner state creates the outer world you live in. By seeing your miracle already in existence, you are commanding the universe to respond with the exact circumstances needed for its manifestation. You have been prepared for this moment. This is the moment where your belief, your feeling of certainty, will open the door to what you have asked for.
You've got to understand that you've already got it. Use your imagination. See yourself already in possession of the good you desire. That will flip your mind onto a specific frequency. And you do think on frequencies. It's on that frequency that good you desire is going to start coming toward you, and you will start moving toward it. If you want to attract what you actually want, you've got to see yourself now already with it. And know it's only a period of time until you moving toward it and it moving toward you, and you become one with it.
Decide what you want and begin to do positive statements in present tense for what you want. You never want to say, I will have or I'm going to have, because if you do that, it keeps it in the future. And remember, if you say, I have a wonderful new apartment and you're living in a dump, it doesn't mean that this is not a true statement. It means you are planting the seed that will germinate and grow and become the new apartment. So you just keep doing it. Everything happens in the perfect time-space sequence, and we want to trust that and we want to know that.
The universe only gives us what we think we're worthy of receiving. So then people who show up for themselves every day, they start feeling pretty damn worthy. Like they're like, I'm worthy for this. Not like an entitlement way, like something. They just like, I feel like it's gonna happen. I'm worthy for it.
You're not ready for what you want until you believe you can get it. All things are possible if you believe.
And you get it when you believe it. You get it when you believe you have it. And that's the key. It's like people still, they sit around going, when's it going to come? 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 And that's the wrong way. You have to go, it's here, it's here, it's here.
Who is ever in your business, in your life, when you stopped worrying about money, more of it came in? Isn't that the craziest thing in the world? It's like people who have money, more comes to them. Why? I truly believe it's like the success tax. It's like when you stress about it so much, when you worry about it so much, when it's all your focus, it eludes you. So I just want to change this thought in your mind of money being scarce and money is abundant. Instead of hoarding what you have, continue to do what you're already doing and figure out how do you get more of it to come in your direction.
Nobody changes until they change their energy. And when you change your energy, you change your life. Don't expect anything in your life to change if your environment is controlling your feelings and thoughts. And if your environment is controlling how you feel and think, what you're really saying is that person is controlling your feelings and your thoughts. And that means you're a victim to your environment. Well, turn that around and you start realizing your feelings and thoughts create your environment, and you start seeing the effects of you at cause. You're going to believe more that you're the creator of your life and less the victim of your life. And I say, the more you practice it, the better you get at it.
I had a dream. Like sometimes you lay down in bed and you visualize things. Lay down, I'd imagine playing for the Lakers, and I'd imagine what the uniforms look like. I'd imagine we would be playing, and the smell of the arena and all sorts of stuff. And I would see myself, getting hot, score 10 straight points. So you just keep dreaming and dreaming and dreaming, and before I go to sleep, I'm like at 120 points. So when you grow up, downloading that into your brain over and over and over, and then that summer, I made 1,000 shots a day, 1,000. right? That's on top of weight training and my conditioning. There were shots that you saw in that game. There were specific shots. I mean, it was coming out of the corner, going to the pinch post, footwork in the post, coming off the screen. It was very specific. So when you download that into your system and you go out in the court and you're just executing things that you've done thousands of times before and you have that dream, then that becomes possible.
I mean, honestly, like, what I did wasn't rocket science. For me as a kid, I had dreams bigger than anybody else could ever dream. And I wanted to be the greatest. I wanted to be the best. And I think I always wanted to be the first Michael Phelps because I wanted to do things differently than everybody else.
The strongest individuals are not those who never experienced negative thoughts, but those who refuse to be controlled by them. Because you know that success is not reserved for the few, it's claimed by those who decide they deserve it.
Unbelievable. All right, it's my least favorite word. I think we should wipe it out of the dictionary. Why? What's so unbelievable about tragedy, about triumph, about people that raise us up or let us down? It happens every single day. We shouldn't think that the most beautiful sunset or the greatest play or the greatest love of our life or the greatest moment of euphoria is unbelievable. Believe it. It's happening right in front of you, in you. We shouldn't feel like the greatest tragedy of death or earthquakes or natural disasters or loss is unbelievable. It's part of life too. Believe it. We see it happen every day. So, unbelievable. I don't buy it. Awesome. Horrible. Incredible. I believe those. That's a good way to explain things. But unbelievable? Nah. It just happened. Believe it.
There are many ways to get the things that we want for ourselves in our lives. It all begins with how we choose to think. As you think, so shall you be. 7 little words that I think are perhaps the most important things that we can learn and master in our lives. This old proverb notion that I become what I think about all day long. And once you know that what you think about is what expands, you start getting real careful about what you think about.
Most people let what's happening now control what they're thinking. They don't like it, and they're waiting for it to change. It'll never change. What they don't understand, what's coming is a reflection of what they're seeing inside. If your goal is to get out of debt, you're going to stay in debt forever. Whatever you're thinking about is coming to you. It's all about the mind. And it's got to happen inside first if you want it to happen outside at all.
And we're not on this stage just because of talent or ability. We're up here because of 4 a.m. We're up here because of 2-a-days or 5-a-days. We're up here because we had a dream and let nothing stand in our way.
Once upon a time, there was a young basketball player who had dreams of becoming one of the greatest basketball players of all time.
My name is Kobe Bryant. I'm 17 years old with the hunger, the motivation, and the desire to be the best possible basketball player that I could be.
When you make a choice and say, come hell or high water, I'm going to be this, then you should not be surprised when you are that. Man, I gave my soul to this game. There's nothing more I could give. Nothing. But I'm telling you, it goes by fast. And if you don't give it your all, you're going to regret it.
You grow up as a kid thinking that all things are possible if you put in the work to do it. And you grow up having that fundamental belief.
And what I'm talking about is moving your mind into a higher vibration, developing a higher consciousness, and you can literally attract all the good that you want. You see, money is literally attracted to us, or it's repelled. Now, in the first 27 years of my life, I can assure you that I was not magnetized to that green energy. It used to stay away from me, and now it just keeps coming to me.
My parents were great. You know, growing up, they instilled in me the importance of imagination, of curiosity. Understanding that, okay, if you want to accomplish something, I'm not just going to sit here and say, yes, you can do whatever you want. Yes, you can, but you have to also put in the work to get there.
My sister came to me with a book, The Secret, preaching the law of attraction. And I was like, I wasn't interested. I was almost laughing at it. And then it started to resonate with me, like, keep positive and have belief in where you're going, and can almost visually
create your entire world. No, not almost. You actually can.
Yes.
You can. And then I was like, I'm going to do that, and I will do that. And then that's when I began to practice it. Like, I would practice like little parts of it. Like when we were driving into the shopping mall, I would always visualize that the car park space right at the front door would be empty for me, waiting for us to pull up. And sometimes I'd get it, and sometimes I wouldn't get it. You know, and I kept building on that, and I became so damn good at it that I was able to go into bouts against undefeated fighters with insane fighting legacies. I was able to go in front of the world and tell the world, I'm going to knock this man out with this exact shot at this exact time, and I done it back to back to back.
You'll never attract energy that you're not in harmony with. If you want good to come, you got to get into a good vibration. If you want abundance, you've got to get into good vibration. If you want to receive a lot, give a lot.
Give expressions of gratitude many times daily for having received that which you want, even before you actually get physical possession of it. Possession starts first in the mind. Please remember this. Third, keep your mind open for hunches from within. And when you are inspired to action, do not wait, but move on your own personal initiative at once. Remember, there can be no application of applied faith without action. Fourth, when overtaken by defeat, as you may be many times, remember that man's faith is tested many times before he is crowned with final victory. And accept your defeat as nothing more than a challenge to keep on trying. Know what you want and believe that you can and will get it.
What do we mean, the law of attraction? Listen, it's all about induction and resonance. Induction and resonance. That's what it's all about. You attract it, it resonates with you, you become a bigger whatever. A bigger complainer for a bigger success.
He said, if you want a thing in life, you must believe, and it will come.
You must believe it too.
I'm a big believer that you should only listen to somebody or take advice from people who have bigger dreams for your life than you do. And I think most people don't have bigger dreams for you, which just means that for me, like, their advice isn't valid.
By all that is right in this world, your verdict, you must believe it. You must believe it.
Repeated thoughts wear a kind of psychic groove in the mind. A groove that gets deeper with every repetition. You see what that means? When you think you can't, and you tell yourself you can't, and you tell other people that you can't, you've made a groove in your mind, psychically. And every time you do that, the groove becomes deeper until ultimately you can't. That is the way it goes.
Let me give you a little known fact today that will increase your effectiveness in anything you do. Now, while this has long been known by the most successful people of the world, it seems to have escaped the great majority. The secret is to get and hold fast in your mind the mental image of the person you would most like to be. Then in every situation, you act and talk as you feel that person would. You make the kind of decisions you think that person would. This is the way to constantly grow into a better, more effective person. You immediately begin to act with more confidence, and confidence is the first step to accomplishment. As your accomplishments begin to grow, real confidence slowly takes the place of the part you've been playing. Day by day, you'll grow into the image you hold in your mind. If you doubt this, try it for 30 days and watch what happens. You've got nothing to lose. The time is going to pass anyway. Why not put it to work, becoming the person you most want to become?
Act as if nothing affects you, because once your emotions belong to the world, your power is no longer your own. They will test you. They will provoke you. But a mind anchored in purpose cannot be moved. Lincoln lost more elections than most men have dreams, but he never blinked. Edison failed thousands of times and called each one a lesson. The giants walk through fire and don't flinch, because their vision burns hotter than the flames. You must master stillness in chaos. Train your mind to hold the image of who you're becoming, even when life shakes your foundation. Discipline your emotions. Guard your energy. Move with calm, speak with clarity, act with unbreakable intent, not because you're numb, but because you are focused. Because nothing outside of you is stronger than the decision within you. And when the world can't shake you, it has no choice but to follow you.
But the truth is, I'm really in pursuit of greatness. I know people don't usually talk like that, but I want to be one of the greats. I'm inspired by the greats. I'm inspired by the greats here tonight. I'm as inspired by Daniel Day-Lewis, Marlon Brando, and Viola Davis as I am by Michael Jordan and Michael Phelps, and I want to be up there. So I'm deeply grateful to that. This doesn't signify that, but it's a little more fuel, it's a little more ammo to keep going. Thank you so much.
I saw a couple days ago you described yourself as the best defender ever. Can you talk about why you have that kind of conviction about your place on the all-time list and where Kawhi Leonard ranks for you?
I think as a competitor, if you're trying to do something meaningful, if you don't have the mindset that you're the best ever, you failed already. So if you don't have the mindset that you are the best reporter ever, then you already failed. But before you can ever reach anything, you have to believe it. You don't just mistakenly become great at something.
It's impossible! You know my views on that word, Mr. Fell. The only way to achieve the impossible is to believe it is possible. Our work here is done.
Listen, this is to anybody who's watching this. Subscribe to Inspired by Florian. Period.